Truth with Mark Naughton. We are just fresh back from Minneapolis, Minnesota, where we covered the Chauvin trial, and also Brooklyn Center with Dante Wright. We're back home. We're here in beautiful Rittenhouse Square again. It's springtime. A lot of people out, and we're gonna get the feelings. We're gonna get the thoughts of the people. Today, we're gonna talk about it. Michaela Bryant. She was just shot and killed by officers, and they're responding to a knife call. And we've seen the video. We've heard what the media has to say.
I don't think the police need to be called for everything. I think that what we need is more options at the 911. If you're calling and it happens to deal with minors, they're maybe needing other people, I'm not saying I know and have the right answer for everything, but there's more options needed than just the cops. The cops they only can do but so much. And a lot of times right now, under this climate and under the last 4 years, cops has been really militant style. So it's really, I'm just here to discipline and not try to actually come up with a solution. And, obviously there are good cops, and I'm not a cop banger, but we do need to hone in on a lot of the unnecessary force. And unfortunately, it happens to always resonate in communities of color or low-income communities. So there is a standard that you can say. I mean, we can look at last 4 years again. We have many mass shootings. They are arrested. They killed people. So they actually committed something, and they still are living. So there's something broken here where attempting is now, let's kill her now. No, there's a lot. Shoot the hand. I'm sure the hand can be lamed and stop someone. So there's other options.
The police are not trained properly, and they don't see us as humans. They honestly see us as animals. That's why they act as such. If you look at how we take down animals, that's how they take down black people. There is no think first, then shoot. It's shoot and then think first. And I feel like if you are a police officer or someone that's upholding justice, that's not something that can be. She was a child. There's no reason that she had to lose her life. But
does she bear any responsibility in that event?
Yes, but it's also, she's a foster kid with mental issues. I've been a foster mother. I fostered a 16-year-old. If you've ever dealt with foster kids, you cannot handle them the same way that you handle kids who grew up in a one-parent or two-parent home. These kids have nobody. They don't trust anybody because everybody that they've decided to, put their trust in has used and abused them.
Yeah, being entirely honest, I haven't heard a single thing about it.
Okay, so I'll speak mostly with yourself here. So, but the situation is, the news came out. The very first thing was she was unarmed. Turns out she was not. She was about to plunge a knife into another girl. So, another one. Well, let's just start there. Have you seen the news come out too quickly, and then later have to retract?
Yeah, often. Quite a bit. I feel like we shouldn't be reporting everything so instantly before we have all the facts laid out. I think that's a problem that happens a bit too much. That we want reactionary news, and because of that, we sell what sells and what people will immediately grab onto. And one of those things is violence. People love that, and we don't really understand the far-reaching implications of what that can be socially. Before we have all the facts.
Man, I feel like I've been racially profiled when I was 16 years old, so I almost did 5 to 10 years for something I didn't do. So I always look at stuff like that. I'm a real rebellious person, so I think a little different. So I be thinking they should, eye for an eye type, but I don't want to be that type of person. So how the world is now, so I don't know, man. I feel like it's a tragedy, but, this happened regularly.
Sorry, guys.
Nice.
So that's not nice. That was horrible.
Hey, we tried to bring it in.
I know. So apparently I'm not a good hacky sack. We're on Truth with Mark Naughton. I'm here with
Lots.
Lots and
Tooley.
Lots and Tooley. Listen, guys, horrible situation in Columbus, Ohio. What are your thoughts?
I'm actually from Columbus, Ohio, and I haven't heard about what's going on. I don't keep up with too much media. What happened?
Okay.
So
you guys don't know?
No.
Okay, so there's a 15-year-old girl, 15, 16, I think she's 16. She was in a situation, and she had a knife, and she approached some people, and she went to stab another girl, and an officer was there. He shot and killed her. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't. But I mean, we already know what this whole situation is about anyway. That's the whole point of the interview. Like, we see way too much of this shit as is. I don't know if I can curse, but you know. But yeah, like, man, countless names. And now it's just being given way too much leeway for those kind of actions. So who knows? He could have been in his own rights, or he could have just been trying to act under his own badge and under the power of his badge.
So we don't know though, right? We have to let the facts develop.
But you know what? Sometimes when kids do something so much, you just automatically think they already did it. Their actions are starting to be the same thing. So
What do you mean the kids, their actions are the same thing?
Well, you got kids?
I do.
Okay, so have you ever had your kids just do so much? You know what your kids are used to doing.
Correct.
So if it seems like something they're going to do, 9 times out of 10, you might think they've already done it.
Okay.
Exactly. So their habits towards the melanated community is shoot first, ask questions later.
Yes, she shouldn't have picked up the knife, but at the same time, she's a child. And at that point, you're an adult. You should be able to, de-escalate a situation as an adult.
Did you see the video?
I did.
Did you see her about to plunge the knife into the girl in the pink?
I did. That's what once again, she's a child. You have tasers, you have batons, you have any other way to stop a 15-year-old.
You hear it a lot. Shoot him in the leg. Shoot the knife out of the hand. Mm-hmm. The leg, the femoral artery, which is, if you nick that, you'll bleed out in seconds. Are you familiar with that?
Thank you for the anatomy lesson, but no, I wasn't. Obviously, there's arteries, main blood vessels that can be shot and then it can bleed out. However, what about the tasers?
I understand that she was about to, but they came there to jump her. So you have to understand, when you're in the mentality of, you see your foster parents are in the house, they're watching this shit happen, they're watching these kids try to jump you, and girls, when it comes to fighting, is merciless.
It's a knife. She's 15 years old. She ain't throwing a knife at you. I don't know. I just think it should be different. I don't know.
How about the girl in the pink? Do you think she'd take the same position?
I don't know. I only seen the video like one time, so I don't really know that much, and I don't want to speak on something that I don't really know like that. So
how about the media? They spoke pretty quick.
Yeah, but that's the media. Media speak quick on everything. It's like, I feel like, and sometimes it be false information. Like media really the first one to get the false information out of anything. So
yeah, the first thing they said is she was unarmed.
Right, and then now you say she had a knife. You know what I mean?
Pretty big difference.
That's a big difference. But it's a different when you try. Like, I don't know. I would think if she was trying to stab the cop, then I understand self-defense. But I think she was just trying to protect herself from getting beat up. How
about defense of others? I mean, don't we say cops have to, quote, protect and serve?
Yeah, but he could have tased her. You know what I mean? He could have not used what he did. He didn't have to put a bullet in her because she's 15 years old. If anything, you strong man, you could have just grabbed her. I don't know. I just think it could have been different.
As facts develop, we find out that she wasn't carrying a knife, that she went inside to get the knife. Does that change the situation?
Yes and no, because once again, the intent is still there, the intent to use. So yeah, your intent is to still harm somebody. That's wrong, but protection is everything. And when you are a child that has never had anybody protect you, you protect yourself the way you know how.
Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate because nobody wants to see a child lose their life, right? And I think at the same time, it was a very dynamic situation. It happened very quickly.
It is, but once again, if you are in the justice system, if you are in the position to protect and serve, your job is to know how to handle situations like that happen quicker than the average human can comprehend. That's your job. Your job is not to shoot first and then ask questions later. If that's the case, then what are you there for?
Yeah.
We can do that. We can protect ourselves that way. So,
well, everyone does want to reduce the police, and maybe we should start protecting ourselves.
I don't think you need to reduce. I think you need to completely redo. You need to literally destroy it and then rebuild it up again.
America is in a very unique time with reaction to law enforcement, with reaction to policing with and use of force with minorities, and then the media comes out and says that, and it was 100% inaccurate. She was unarmed. First thing he said, turns out she was plunging a knife into another person.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just think that before anybody makes any kind of full observation on anything, everybody should always make sure that they have the facts. And even as someone myself who was not made completely aware of everything, I wasn't, it's easy to get swept up in things if you don't have everything laid out for you. And I feel like people should seek that out. I feel like we should try to cultivate more of a culture of people looking for the information for themselves rather than just accepting then what's on the television or what's on the radio or what's on whatever.
Mainstream news is going to dictate the general population's ideology of the whole circumstance in the first place. Now, for people such as yourself who's going out trying to get real answers, hopefully it's seen. But we know what this is, man. I mean, like, we need to really stop bullshitting about where the hell we live and understand what the programming is for melanated people, for Western civilization people, European people, for Asian people. Everybody's being programmed to think a specific way, and it's all geared towards melanin people. And until we start really bringing that shit to fact, a lot of this shit is going to happen.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. You think that's a problem? You think that's dividing us as a society?
Yes.
How do we bring it back? How do we bring us all to be, I would say, Americans?
If everybody cooperate with each other, well, that's not going to just happen.
No, it's not just cooperation. If we really want to be one people, we got to bring the truth to the table. Stop bullshitting. Stop sweeping the problems under the rug. Let's get it out in the open. Let's literally discuss where we come from. What's the issues here? What is the issues that's been here? It's not playing like this shit has ever been a great country. It's always been on some fuck shit.
So that's exactly what we're trying to do here, and that's why the show is called Truth with Mark Naughton. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so that's our first episode back from Minneapolis, Minnesota, which, by the way, check the channel and watch the documentary. It's very eye-opening. We were there. We went there. So back in our home location, Rittenhouse Square, and we got the feelings from the people. A lot of people didn't even see the footage, but the opinions were strong. We got them, and that's what we're doing. We're grabbing the thoughts of the people and sending it that way. Not my thoughts, theirs. So if you like what you've seen, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. If you don't like, share, and subscribe, leave a comment. And don't forget, we have, if you want this, if you want more of this, if you want to see us traveling, going to the places, getting the information, all right, there's a GoFundMe, Truth with Mark Naughton. Thanks. Have a good one.